Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing a follow-up to my Windows Vista apps on Windows 98 video because it's really needed at this point. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be finally, at the request of a lot of you guys, installing DirectX 9.0. So yeah, for those of you guys who haven't seen my original video on this, I would highly recommend that you go and check it out up in the cards right now just so that you'll be up to speed on what it is that we're going to be trying to do here today. If you remember in that video, what we did is we tried to install some Windows Vista programs on Windows 98, and a lot of you guys in the comments were saying that a lot of the errors that I was getting were related to me not having DirectX 9.0 installed, specifically for the Halo games, and possibly even, let's just try to run one of these right now, one of these other games here. So we'll run Hold'em, and if you get, X input 9, so this is related to DirectX 9. So what I've done here is I have downloaded a copy of DirectX 9. This is from June 2010. This is the entire standalone installer. It's not the web-based one. We're going to try to run this without any of the kernel X compatibility layers and see if it works. I highly doubt that it's going to. So yeah, it just straight up tells us that we need to upgrade our version of Windows. So what we're going to do instead is go into properties and we're going to enable kernel X. We'll just start with the default option, see if that works. Okay, so that gives us some much better results. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, it's not really much of a spoiler, but off camera I did try to install DirectX 9 on Windows XP, and I was able to get the Halo 2 map editor and the dedicated server to run properly. I still couldn't get the actual game to work, but let's try that on Windows 98 here. So we're going to agree to the license agreement. So this is actually going to extract the file, so we'll just put it on the desktop, and we'll make a new folder called D9. We'll create it, and it's going to extract all of those files here. This actually appears to be the SDK, but I think, we have this DX setup. I assume we can run this. Okay, so it's going to give us that same error, but let's try to go in here and use default compatibility settings. Okay, good. Now we're in Windows Vista. Okay, so there we go. Welcome to the setup for DirectX. This will install the DirectX runtime components. We're going to agree, and we're going to hit next. A cabinet file necessary cannot be trusted. Please verify. Okay, well that is a problem. This does not look like the same installer that I tried on Windows XP. So I'm wondering. I think that the Halo CD actually has a DirectX 9 installer on it. So let's see if we can go in here. Let's just try to search. Can we just? How do we search here? Tools. Find files or folders. So we want to find every exe file on the D drive. So let's see what we got here. DX setup, there it is. It's under D/redist. So let's go in here and let's see what other files we got in here. So we have DX setup. So we're going to try to run DX setup. We're going to change our compatibility options to Windows Vista, hit apply and OK, and let's see if this gives us any better results. So yeah, this was the one that I got on Windows XP, Microsoft DirectX 9.0C. That is the correct version that we need. We're going to accept, hit next, and, well, it gives that same error again. A cabinet file necessary for installation cannot be trusted. Alright, so apparently there is an older version of DirectX 9.0C, one that is actually officially compatible with Windows 98. So we just have so many freaking icons on the desktop here. So I'm going to actually try out one of these and see if it works. I've got one from June and one from April. So we're going to try the one from June first. As far as I know, this is DirectX 9.0C. That is what this forum post says. So let's try it out and see if this allows us to actually install DirectX 9.0C on Windows 98. So we're going to once again extract the files. Got a new folder over here. We're going to go in and run the setup file. And check that out, Microsoft DirectX 9.0C. We will accept the agreement. We will click next. And it's actually going to install the components. So yes, I will leave a download link to this one down below. It is still actually hosted on Microsoft's website, but this one is officially supported. Alright, so we have rebooted here. Yeah, I don't think that was done using kernel X. I'm pretty sure that was just running the executable with no compatibility layer, which is great. So yeah, Windows 98 second edition, the support ended on July 11th, 2006. So this redist from June was probably one of the last supported versions of DirectX on Windows 98 before the support ended. You can see we are updating our system settings there. So now if I actually go in here and I run dxdiag, check this out, DirectX version, DirectX 9.0C. So that is great. What we're going to do now is try to go back in here and run these games and see if that actually gives us a working copy of Hold'em, Microsoft Tinker, and the Halo 2 map editor. Okay, so we're still getting that same error there. So that's not a good sign at all. Microsoft Tinker editor. Okay, well that isn't a good sign. Let's now try to go into our Halo 2 installation directory here. So that will be under Program Files. And so you see we have a DirectX folder here. That's great. It's under Microsoft Games, Halo 2 map editor. And let's try to run H2 tool. Okay. Yeah, still not giving us the best results there. So that kind of sucks because that, well, let's try to use a Windows Vista compatibility layer. Let's try to specify Vista. Nope. Alright, so we're back here on the disk, and what I'm noticing now is that in this redist folder, there's actually a couple of DLL files as well as October 2006 D3D9, or yeah, D3DX9_31, which is the DLL that we are getting the error that Windows isn't able to find when I try to run the map editor. Alright, so let me just back up for a moment because I want to kind of try, test out a little theory here. I think I might have an idea as to why these programs are not running. So when we go in here, we go into Program Files, and we go into Microsoft Games, or wherever that is. Okay, Microsoft Games, Halo 2 Map Editor. When we try to run H2 Tool, or that's not the one I'm looking for, H2, I think it was this one. So it says that it can't find D3DX9_31.dll. So D3DX9_30 all the way back to _24 are in the system directory. So let's see if it's just as simple as extracting all of these files, which has 31 in it. This is from this .cab file, dragging that into system 32, or into system. Now I'm thinking if this doesn't work, that was it. That's all you needed was the DLL. Okay. Man, check that out. Copyright 2007 Microsoft Corporation. We are running a piece of software copyrighted in 2007 that was designed for Windows Vista on Windows 98. That is crazy. That is how simple it was. So I guess what we can do is, let's see, can we run H2 Sapien? Yeah, we can run this as well. So this is a this tries to find a .scenario file. Okay, well, let's just find files and folders. We want to look in C. Let's just browse. We want to look in C, Program Files. Let's just look in the entire Microsoft Games folder for everything with a .scenario. Okay, so we have an example.scenario, and that is located in Halo 2 Map Editor tags scenario multi-example. So multi-example example.scenario. Okay, so that opened up, and then did it just crash? So yeah, it tries to open it up, but then it just crashes, and then it created this debug.html file. Error, this machine isn't Vista. Error, failed to initialize rasterizer. It's just literally spitting out an error saying this machine isn't Vista. So no, H2 Sapien was not using, like, I didn't specify kernel X. So, or specify Windows Vista, I'm sorry. So let's actually try to specify that we want to use the Windows Vista compatibility layer, and let's see if that gives us any sort of different result. Multi-example, example.scenario. It still crashes, okay. And yeah, this is the one right here. Oh, but it's a different error this time. Failed to obtain Direct3D Create9EX function pointer. So it changed the error from... So that's a sign that the kernel X compatibility layer is working. it's just not finding this file. So I wonder if that is on this disk somewhere else. Let's just do this. Let's go back. So I'm gonna go back into the Halo 2 drive, and what I'm gonna do is copy all of the these driver files. Like, so we did this one here. I don't know if all this stuff is supposed to go in the system, but we're just gonna put it in system. Okay, so I've done all of the DLLs. Now let's try to do that again. Example.scenario. Crashed again. What is the report this time? Okay, so it failed to find that same file. We can get this one here to work, and I wonder if we can, because this also you can try to find a scenario file. So let's see if we can go into, or under tags, scenarios, example.scenario. It ran out of Windows resources. Close some open files and try again. Well, it did actually open it up, but it just ran out of resources. So I wonder if, I mean, what do we have running in the background? But we do have all of these other files. We have this BSP file where it ran out of Windows resources. That might just be because how much RAM did I give this machine? I gave this machine 256 megs of RAM, which Vista definitely... So Vista requires a minimum of 512 megabytes. So I'm going to actually turn off this VM and bump this up to like a gig of RAM and see if that, because it is running out of resources. That definitely could be that there's not enough memory, because this was designed to have a minimum of 512 megs of system memory. I don't know if Halo 2, I wonder what the Halo 2 system requirements are. Let's see what that is. So Halo 2 requires 1 gig of RAM. So, but that is the game though. So I don't know if the map editor might have different system requirements than the game. But I'm going to turn off this VM here. I'm going to edit the machine settings, and we're going to bump this up to 1024, which will be 1 gig of RAM, and we'll power this back on. So now we have 1 gig of RAM. Scenario is example.scenario. Okay, so it ran out of Windows resources again. So the main scenario file didn't work, but this bitmap file did. Of course, this is just a bitmap. Can we run this structure.lightmap? Yeah, so it ran out of resources. So this, I mean, running these bitmaps, it's pretty simple because it's just an image. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a whole map. But that is definitely cool. We were able to get the Halo 2 map editor to work. Now I wonder if, since these were also, if these games, I believe they may have been searching for the same DLL. I don't know, but let's see if this works. Alright, so this is a DirectX related DLL. So what I'm going to try to do is, because I was able to get these games to work on Windows XP, we're going to go right back over to that VM, and we are going to try to find that DLL and then copy it over to the Windows 98 system folder and see if that allows us to get it to run. Alright, so interestingly enough, this file that it's trying to find does not even exist on the Windows XP installation, but we do have this X input 13. Oh, actually, wait a second. We weren't even able to get Hold'em to work. Hold'em, I think, gave the same error. Yeah, it can't find X input 9_1_0. Now, Inkball, we were able to get to work. I did receive some comments from you guys asking me to retry the Hold'em, Inkball, and Tinker setup on Windows 98 here, because a couple of you guys were saying that, well, because you're using the Vista compatibility layer, when you go in here and Inkball is automatically grayed out, because Inkball came with Vista, and all of those other programs, Hold'em and Tinker, were part of the Vista Ultimate Extras. So a lot of you guys had a theory that the installer, because it thinks it's running under Windows Vista, is not going to allow you to install Inkball. And that kind of makes sense. That kind of seems like it definitely could be the issue. So what one of you guys suggested to do is change the compatibility layer over to Server 2008. So we're going to try that. We're going to try to change this over to Windows 2008 Service Pack 1. And we'll try this again and see if that gives us the ability to install Inkball. And check that out. You guys were on point. Whoever that was, I think it was multiple people actually that said you should try to do that. I know that at least one of you guys did. I'll put the comment up on screen right now to, give credit to, whoever that was. But check that out. Okay, so we're going to install Inkball, because that is the one program that we don't have. So this can't find slc.dll. So let's go back over to Windows XP and let's search for that. So we will search for, start a new search, all files, slc.dll. Oh, this is, okay. That's what it was. I had tried to do this before, I think, but I didn't know if this was going to work because Inkball actually works through all key for applications using this vslc.dll, which I believe might stand for virtual slc.dll. But I'm going to try to copy this over to the Windows 98 VM, and I'm going to rename this to slc.dll. And I'm going to drop it in the computer C Windows, and let's just drop it into system. We'll just copy it in system, and we'll paste it in here. Okay, now let's try this again. Okay, so now we get a different error. It can't find msvcr80.dll. Okay, so that msvcr80.dll actually pertains to the Microsoft Visual C++ 2005 redistributable. So I've downloaded that, the 32-bit version, and we're going to be installing that. So let's just go through this agreement here. Now this isn't using AllKey, or kernel X, I mean, like we haven't done any sort of compatibility layer. So I believe that installed it, so let's go ahead and try to go back into my computer, and we'll go into C, Program Files, Microsoft Games, Inkball, and let's try to run this. Okay, so now we get this error saying the inkball.exe file is linked to missing export advapi32.dll get trace enable flags. A device attached to the system is not functioning. So this is actually the same error that we get when we try to install .NET FX 2.0 package. It gives the same exact string of error where it tries to find ntdll. Alright, so we have one last hope. My idea is to try to find this advapi32.dll file in our installation of Windows XP, because again, if you don't remember, we were able to get Inkball to work on Windows XP in my All Key for Applications video. So we're going to go ahead and do another search. So there it is. We have it in two different locations. So we're just going to drag that file into Windows 98. And then what I'm going to do is paste that into the system folder, because that's the folder that Windows 98 uses. If it doesn't work, then I'll try to put it into the System32 folder, but the System32 folder, as you can see on Windows 98, is not really used for much. I mean, you have like some drivers in here and a few DLLs, but that's pretty much it. The system folder, the regular system folder, is what Windows 98 primarily uses. As you can see, there are a ton more files in here. So we're going to go ahead and copy this over to the system. Cannot create or replace the specified file is being used. So is it already in here? Oh, it's already in here, but it's just an older version. This one here was modified. Well, I mean, that's not like an accurate date. Well, let's just go by the version. This was, yeah, version 5.1, 2600 from, XP. That's XP's build string. And this one here is version 4.8. So, yeah, this one's definitely older, obviously. So I wonder if, I mean, it says it's being actively used. I wonder if we try to put this into the System32 folder. So C Windows, System32. Let's try to drag this in here. Maybe we'll get some better results that way. And no, it still gives us the same error. So we're not able to actually modify the advapi file because it's currently being, like the one that's in the regular system folder, because it's currently being used. So yes, unfortunately, it looks like we're not having as much of a success with Inkball as we did with the Halo 2 map editor, but it was still pretty cool that we were able to get the map editor to run. I had a lot of you guys wanting me to do this video. A lot of you guys said that it was just DirectX, and well, you guys were pretty much right. It turned out to be that we needed to copy some, well, we first of all needed to install DirectX and then copy some additional files over to Windows 98, and that was able to get the map editor to work. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on channel notifications if you haven't already. to get notified whenever I upload new videos on this channel, which I do every single week. And also be sure to drop me a comment letting me know if you guys have any thoughts on this process that we did here. Were these the results that you were expecting? Definitely be sure to let me know down in the comments, as I always enjoy reading what you guys have to say. And as always, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.